Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about something that I feel like didn't get the coverage it should have. Because in any other time in American history, if what happened had happened, it would have been front page news. It would have been talked about for weeks. But it barely even registered. And I think it's important to make sure that this information gets out there. We live in a Trump era, and there was the news of the $250 million civil trial. There's the fallout from Trumpism over in the House. There's all of that, and that took precedence. That's what got the coverage. But during Trump's presidency, there were a lot of claims that were made. There were a lot of quotes that were attributed to him that he, of course, denied. And they had to do with how he viewed the military, POWs, the wounded, those who were lost. I don't get it. What was in it for them? Didn't want wounded around because it's not a good look. He didn't like looking at them. There were tons of them. These statements, according to the allegations and the reporting, they were said around senior staff. And that's why it was always really hard to get anybody on the record about it. I want to read you something. And this was in an interview. What can I add that has not already been said? A person that thinks those who defend their country in uniform or are shot down or seriously wounded in combat or spend years being tortured as POWs are all suckers because there is nothing in it for them. A person that did not want to be seen in the presence of military amputees because it doesn't look good for me. A person who demonstrated open contempt for a Gold Star family, for all Gold Star families, on TV during the 2016 campaign, and rants that our most precious heroes who gave their lives in America's defense are losers and wouldn't visit their graves in France. A person who is not truthful regarding his position on the protection of unborn life, on women, on minorities, on evangelical Christians, on Jews, on working men and women. A person that has no idea what America stands for and has no idea what America is all about. A person who cavalierly suggests that a selfless warrior who has served this country for 40 years in peacetime and war should lose his life for treason in expectation that someone will take action. A person who admires autocrats and murderous dictators, a person that has nothing but contempt for our democratic institutions, our Constitution, and the rule of law. There is nothing more that can be said. God help us. That's quite the rant. That is quite the rant. A statement like that, you would probably expect to come from, somebody from the other team, a Democrat. That's John Kelly, longest serving White House Chief of Staff. If the Chief of Staff of any other president said this, that would have been front page news. That would have been huge in any other political climate. Just this statement. But this is where it gets a little bit more important. Kelly was senior staff. A lot of the words and terms used here, they're the quotes that were attributed to Trump throughout his administration. The things he denied, the things his supporters denied. He would never say that. This is the guy that would have been in the room when it happened. And he's quoting them. If they weren't true, if they weren't actually said, he probably wouldn't be using the exact same words. Looking at a whole bunch of the fallen and saying, I don't get it, what was in it for them, I imagine that would stick with you. This would have been a political career ender for anybody else at any point in time. Just this statement. This is Trump's longest serving White House Chief of Staff. Who said that? It barely got covered. This little segment, and I'm sure that there will be video about this out there if you look for it. For those people who are in your circles who are still under the spell of Trump, this might be something that would help. This isn't a Democrat. This isn't some unnamed source. To my knowledge, this is the first time Kelly has acknowledged any of this on the record. This might be something that would help sway them, that would help them see Trump for who he is. Because in the United States, these comments, for most people who are supporters of Trump, these comments, they would be unbelievable. That was part of the reason I think he got away with it when the reporting came out. Because for his supporters, this kind of statement is just so unbelievable. But you have Kelly using those exact same terms, saying that that's what he said. And Kelly would have been there. In fact, if you go to the reporting, a lot of it's from the Atlantic, you'll see his name. He would know if this wasn't said, because in a lot of the reporting, it was said to him. He's confirming it. Certainly appears to be. I know there's a lot of other news, but for those people who see themselves as MAGA orphans, a term that I heard the other day, or those who have become separated from their families because of their unquestioning loyalty to dear leader, it might be useful to show that that loyalty is not returned. And all of those things that were just unbelievable, they certainly appear to be being confirmed by Trump's longest serving White House Chief of Staff. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.